All right, cool. I think we can go ahead and get started. So first thing to kick things off is I'll cover a stats update with Fjord platform metrics as well as Twitter metrics. I thought it might be kind of cool to cover today since I don't think we've ever done that. And then we'll dive into different updates with community initiatives that we have going on this week and going into next month, as well as product updates, things that are next on in the queue, and then we'll wrap it up with an AMA portion as usual. And we also have looks like we have a handful of questions in the AMA questions channel. So if you guys did want to just ask there at the end, during the session, we'll cover that at the end. And we'll also invite any of you guys up on stage to ask questions. So quick recap of Fjord stats update. Since V1, since Fjord inception, we've hit the 994 million mark of total capital raised on Fjord. We also just surpassed 1.5 billion in swap volume, so that's pretty exciting. We're at 29.4 million in total fee revenues generated. So, very close to that 30 million milestone mark. 680 LBPs total have launched on Fjord and almost 104,000 total participants. Since V2, we've raised 209 million. So pretty big chunk considering V2, we just launched that in the end of December last year. So it's been, just over 5 months, and have raised, almost 210 million, 328 million in swap volume, and we've generated 11.7 million in revenues. So, more than a third of the revenues generated have been just since we've upgraded to V2 contracts. So pretty exciting, kind of shows the potential of V2 and what we have in store moving forward. Moving on to Twitter stats update. So we just reached a year today that the Fjord Twitter handle has been live. Since that date, about a year ago, we've had over 7 million impressions. Our engagement rate has been extremely high, actually, at over 10%, 10.2%. So generally, I would say it's, as someone who's worked on Twitter accounts in the past, 10% engagement rate is pretty insane. 51,000 profile visits, 76,000 link clicks. We're at 95,000 Twitter followers or new Twitter followers. Sounds like that metric's a little bit off. We're about to hit 100K followers, so another pretty big, exciting milestone for us, and I think for our community too. The Twitter profile has been growing quite fast, so it's great to see that. We've had over 10,000 replies, 283,000 likes, 27,000 reposts, 47,000 video views, and almost 70,000 media views. And moving, a little bit closer in time, since that's, skewed over a whole year, just in the last 3 months, we've hit 3 million impressions. So, almost half has been in the last 3 months. So you can tell with that metric alone that more recently, we have a much higher rate of people seeing our account, and our engagement rate is still up at 7%, which is great. Pretty much all of our stats looking in the last 3 months have just been up only, so really great to see that sort of engagement. We have been making extra effort to put out more content, more thoughtful content, content more regularly, content for LP partners, content that's diving deeper into the Fjord platform. And so, what we're seeing is better engagement. We're seeing, higher amount of profile visits, new followers, likes, reposts, video views, everything across the board is going up. So really great to see that. Moving into community updates. So these are ways that the community can actually earn some FJO tokens just by participating in the community. So we actually have poker night this Friday. We've been putting out announcements for I think maybe a week on this. And looks like Friday is the day. I think it was 6 or 7 p.m. is when the poll from the community settled on, 6 or 7 p.m. UTC. And then, so that's a way you guys can get involved, hang out with us, have some fun, get to know maybe some other community members, play some poker on a Friday night, and earn some FJO tokens if if you place in the top 3. We also have some content contests coming up. So if you're a content creator or you want to try your hand in making content for Fjord, it's a great kind of win-win situation where our community can get involved, spread the word about Fjord, do their best to help get our name out there as well, especially if you're an FGO token holder, and then we'll choose what we feel like is the top 3 highest quality content that's created and reward you guys with FGO tokens. And we'll have more details on that later this month, and we'll be even providing you guys with source content that you can draw from, so you can make sure everything you're saying is accurate, and just more easily able to put content together around Fjord. So I think that's pretty exciting. I'm excited to see what the community comes up with. We also are having a little bit more fun, like in less serious side with the meme contest coming up. So we'll have more information on that coming soon. Another thing I'd like to start doing is rewarding people for active participation in our office hours, as well as AMAs with our LBP launch partners, and even other discussions that we're having in the space where we have people come up and ask questions. I'll be paying attention to people who are making an extra effort here, and it won't be like super official how much or when we'll be rewarding tokens like this, but we'll be watching out for those who are most engaged, and you'll be rewarded for it. So some cool community updates I thought coming down the pipeline that are pretty new, ways to get involved, ways to earn some Fjord tokens, and in the meantime also help spread the word about Fjord. As far as moving on to like product updates, a lot of people have been asking when FJO staking, when Solana LBPs, when Fjord V3. So these are pretty imminent to coming out. We've had a little bit of delays as far as getting things to pass through the audit phase. But yeah, expect FJO staking coming out very soon, probably in the next few weeks, maybe even sooner. It's the next thing we're going to be rolling out. And, I just got an update from the team today on it. I don't want to give any solid dates, just because there could be more delays, right? There always can be in crypto. But we have pretty much everything wrapped up and ready to go on that front. So that's the next thing to expect. Will be coming out soon. Same with Solana LBPs. The timeline on that is a few more weeks out from the FGO token staking, but it's coming together, and we're super excited to get out there on Solana and allow the community there and the ecosystem there to start launching on Fjord through LBPs. And then as far as Fjord V3, that's quite a bit down the road. I don't want to give any solid dates on that, but we're hoping for maybe by the end of this year. If not, it'd probably be early 2025. But it just really depends on things that come up in the meantime. But it is, very, it's high priority on our roadmap, and we're making every effort to get it out as soon as possible, but there's a lot of work to be done there. So yeah, that's it for office hours updates, what we have going on. We can transition to the AMA portion now. So first off, I will invite anyone that wants to come up to the stage right now. If anyone wants to come up here, request to come up, and we'll give you the stage to ask us questions. While we're waiting for anyone to come up, if they want to, I'll start reading off the AMA questions in the AMA questions channel. And if you guys are shy, don't want to come up and talk, feel free to drop questions in there. So yeah, someone was asking who's Voivoda.eth getting 25K? Is this team salary? Hemi clarified that we only pay on the end of the month or the first day of the month, so this is most likely a curator, but they haven't actually looked into it. I don't know, Voke, if you have any more context on that.
That's auditor.
Auditor, all right. Yeah, so that's us, paying to get these audits done that we're talking about, trying to, move the timeline and speed that up because we really want to get these products shipped for you guys. Next question is, can you explain what issues you encountered deploying on Solana and when they were resolved? So like I mentioned earlier, there have been some delays in the audit process. As far as I know, there were a few bugs when we first sent in the audits. We fixed those and sent in a new batch of contracts to be audited, and we're waiting to hear back now on that. And then other question, can the team answer directly why the deployment of Solana was delayed for a month and there's no news yet? So there has been news. If you showed up at the last office hours, we touched on this. I think we kind of said the same thing that I said at the last office hours. So we've just been kind of waiting for the auditing process to get finished. If you're a little bit more active, engaged in our AMA sessions and our office hours, you'll see that we're constantly trying to put out news, constantly on our Twitter as well. We're trying to keep people up to date on the situation of what's going on. But yeah, our team's working as hard as we can every single day to ship these things that we have been talking about, staking, Solana, etc. When V3, when Solana, when staking, answered that earlier. Staking Solana should be coming out next month, and V3 maybe later this year. I would set your expectations, early next year, just to be safe. But we're gonna do our best to try and get it out by the end of this year. Is Andy gonna be on the AMA? No, he stayed up all night coding. But if you want to drop any questions for Andy in the chat here, I'm sure he'll get back to you guys. How will you enhance to have better projects on FGO on Fjords? Last ones have been catastrophic. Voke, you want to answer this one?
Sure. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the curation process actually does a really good job already. Like 90% of projects that try and end up going through curation on Fjord get turned away. So that's quite a lot. Like literally on the order of hundreds of projects that end up not being able to get it curated, LBP going. So I do think they do a fairly good job there. I would also say that ever since basically really March, market's actually kind of been kind of iffy. It's usually how it gets in lead up to the halving, and also even a little bit afterwards. Now it's starting to pick back up. I think a lot of people are a lot more confident in launching, and I mean there's quite a big backlog sale wise. There's 27 basically pending curated launches about to hit the platform in the next 2 months already, with more in discussion. I mean, quality on the project, that's up to the individual to assess for themselves, so I'll leave that one for anybody else that wants to basically participate or not to determine that for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. We have this curation process in for a reason, like Vogue said. Over 90% of the projects trying to get curated on Fjord get turned away. So we're already doing our best to filter out, not so good projects, through Fjord with that mechanism, and we have weekly discussions around how can we improve this further. But it really comes down to doing your own research and taking managing your risk with any project that launches on Fjord. It is a decentralized platform, but we are mindful that there's always room to improve, and we're working on it each week. Next question: do the curators disclose their allocation for curating a project? I think that's really up to their discretion. I don't know if Voke, if you have any insight into this, but yeah, I think it's just really purely up to their discretion if they want to disclose it or not.
I will say that we actually have no clue what they end up working out with teams that are LVPing. If they are getting like Compton tokens in any way, though, they should be disclosing it on the basically as part of the little like transparency tab, right, on the LVP before it even goes live.
Totally. All right. I'm gonna click another question here. Are we working on any deals with some tier 1 exchanges to list the token? Vogue, do you know what we're at on
Well,
that?
I mean, in my eyes, tier 1 to me just means really Binance, to be honest. I mean, you can maybe argue like a tier 1.5 is like a Bybit. I think most other exchanges aren't really worth it beyond those two. I will say that they be worked on along with some other ones, just because the listing kind of like strategy for a lot of these things. What you have to end up doing is you kind of go you have to list at like tier 3 or 2 first, go to volume, and then list at the higher ones, right? Unless you have an insane amount of demand offer it, which is usually only the case for like infrastructure level projects.
All right, and yeah, next question. You promised you would use 90% of collected fees for FJO buybacks. In April, you collected 3.2 million in fees, so you should have bought back and burnt 2.88 million worth of tokens, which is not the case at all. How come?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. CNV had first claim to basically the fee distribution prior to TGE, so that's why there's quite a big delta from that month compared to what has been already used. I will say that buybacks have been ongoing since basically TGE happened when the LVP finished, and there's still about 800K worth of revenue that still needs to be deployed, and it has been the whole time. We're just doing so in a controlled manner.
Cool. That's all the questions that we have in the AMA channel. I don't know if anyone here wants to come up and ask anything, but we'd be happy to have you guys up here if you do. Looks like might have been another question from Bacon Boy. Can you share the wallet you're using for buyback?
Sure.
You want to drop that into the AMA question channel vote?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
I'll do the Etherscan link.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, guys, it's all on chain. It's all transparent, so you can follow this wallet if you're curious about it and see every time that we make a buyback and burn. Cool. Well, I think we can wrap this up. Kind of a shorter session today, but we really appreciate you guys all showing up. Always great to have you guys here for these AMAs, and looking forward to seeing some community participation coming up here, whether it's poker nights or content contests or anything else that we have coming down the pipeline. Love to see everyone who's engaged here. Always great to chat with you guys in general chat. Even if it is some people kind of flooding daily, we do care. It is important to us how the community feels. So thanks for showing up.
Yep. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Have a nice day. See you around.